Okay, joking aside, we can both agree that my idea there worked fine, even if it wasn't exactly what you intended. We got to show exactly why Garganackle can be obnoxious.
Yeah.
It's a rock type, but like, you have iron defense, you have body press. And this guy uses dragons.
Yeah, and because he uses dragons, this is the half your team is weak, like 4 times weak to ice. Because so many of his Pokémon are part flying.
Yes. Oh, basically.
And because of that, I'm not going to restore anyone's PP right now, and I'm actually going to swap their hold items, giving the Floatzel the Life Orb temporarily, because I can't have a fucking choice band. And I'm just going to a Life Orb Ice Spinner through everything, because I didn't end up using the Floatzel on the flying one. This means that I will have tons of Ice Spinner PP. It should still be
and most dragons are quad weak to ice.
Most of his team is.
Because most dragons are. It's harder to name a dragon that isn't.
Yeah, so because this game has the, like, Noivern as an example, 4 times weak to ice. Oh, Noivern is fast as fuck, so I might have to live a Boom Burst. Unless the game doesn't go for that and instead clicks like, and I'm somehow faster. The fuck? And now I believe he has a Flapple, or it was Appleton, it's one of the two. So the game should go to that. Oh, no.
Dragalge.
One of the few that's actually not 4 times weak.
But the physical defense is lower.
And funny, I was going to say this is one of the things that's not 4 times weak. Slow as fuck. I have a Life Orb. Holy shit, it lived.
Its HP's good, it's just...
Ah, fuck. A fucking course. God damn it.
Gotta do this the other way.
I hate you, RNG, sometimes. Hydro Pump.
Double bills, y'all!
Oh, this also gives you more money.
Yes.
So yeah, spam that when you can.
That's a decent matchup. Haxorus. A mighty, as we've talked about in other Let's Plays, physical attacking dragon, usually with Mold Breaker. Let's see if he's breaking the mold. Yep,
breaking the mold.
Mold Breaker ignores abilities that prevent stuff. So, Sturdy on the rock type would do nothing. That's the best way to describe Mold Breaker, so that people understand immediately what it does. Like, if you hit a Pokemon with Sturdy, you could defeat it and ignore the Sturdy. It ignores There's the Flapple. It ignores abilities that prevent stuff like that, so Mold Breaker's pretty cool.
And Flap wasn't the thick one, so...
And in case anyone is wondering, yes, Mold Breaker can bypass Good as Gold, ignoring, like... You could use Mold Breaker, and you could hit Goldango through the Good as Gold. There's the Excalibur. Playing a risky game here.
And the thing is, unfortunately,
He does Terrestrial.
he becomes pure.
Pure Dragon.
Though, like, because of how thick this thing's, like, HP
And defenses are.
Don't really know what to, like... Small because I believe it does have thermal exchange, so I can't...
Yes. If you're swapping, either go to the rock type or go to the fire type. You're either doing rock for defense because it's a physical attacker, or you're going fire type.
And it's going to do the like glaive or long rush. So the funny thing is, on the next hit, it will take more damage. Yeah, fuck it. I need to see how much damage this does. I can then revive and shit with like Goldango, or again have Garganacl.
Well, if you're going to do the cheap strategy and it survives and it kills you, bring in the Garganacl. You could set up a Iron Defense because you're going to live a hit with your Sturdy and then start healing. That's about what I expected.
If I had a choice, man, I wouldn't be in this scenario.
It'll miss. Because this is actually really fucking funny, but it's a good... Yep, there's the rush.
That's what I expected.
It failed. Go to the rock, and this is why we talked about like an hour and a half-ish ago. Sturdy, because if it one-shots you, just click Iron Defense.
That was a crit. That was a crit, boy!
And now you just start playing around. Because that was a crit, and you didn't get dropped to your Sturdy.
Yes.
Max Potion. You just have to offset. Now that your defense is doubled, so it should do like, what, 25-ish%? Yep. Okay, this is how you play this. And defense. It has to hit you. We'll play the dirty game here. Gotta hope the game doesn't crit. That's the only problem. No crit. That recovers 50%, so that will get you back to 75. Leftovers are a good chunk. Again, just gotta hope for no crit, and you can get your final setup.
I believe that move only has 5 shots.
Yes.
So the game ran out of it. So now we're in a really damn good position.
Yeah.
So then at that point, while it is super effective, even if the game...
It's non-stab super effective.
So even if the game crits, I'll still be able to live it with a pretty good amount of HP. Because again, the fucking double stab crit, it didn't even knock me to sturdy.
That way, stab. Press. Boop. That should kill from this range. Thank you, Garganackle. Behold, the power of setup. It's a physical attacker, but thermal exchange prevents burns. There it is. Wave crash. The flare plates of water. So that happened.
Yeah.
Fucking Garganackle. You won because Garganackle set up in front of a physical attacker, which you can't burn because thermal exchange. Though, I mean, it was fun to see. Stab, crit.
Not just stab, crit. That move is, I believe, 120 power.
Something like that.
But it was like, after you use it, the user takes double damage.
Yes.
But you can also protect, making... Yes. Though, that seems to be why that move is, like, I believe it's 5
Her
shots.
foot is clipping into the ground. That girl, they're all kind of clipping into the ground. How about I notice that?
Don't you all go Evangelion on me.
It's time for the top champion Geeta. And there's a hill. So you don't have to waste items.
I am going to have to swap the life orb and... One thing, that does make me wonder because of how because some of those have thick-ass HP stats and I am slightly under-leveled. That makes me wonder how different would that have been if I had had a choice band. Going to open with you so that you actually do something.
What button changes the items?
ZL, I believe.
Because it's not in... Because a lot of people were confused because it's not a little hot.
It's not on that, it's on this one. See, ZL.
Yeah. It's not that... Final test. It's the top champion. Geeta. Which people are, like, so butthurt that they hate her team. And people are also so convinced that this woman is a robot.
Everyone's a robot. Just like how now in One Piece, everyone's a clone.
People think she's a robot.
Mm-hmm.
And people hate her team and will not shut up that her team is full of useless Pokemon that have basically...
If her team was competitively trained and they shifted around what comes out where, you would all hate it.
And regardless of how you feel about the man, like, Wolfie coming in here unprepared, he nearly got swept by this team.
Oh, because this thing's an asshole. That's my first impression. If that thing can get going with Lumina Crash, it's an asshole. So you need a good Dart type to fucking deal with it.
Keen Gambit.
King Gambit is very fat. Very, very fat. It is not only very fat, it is 4 times beaten by a low kick. This should be like a 400 damage move.
It's dark still, so... It's not as...
So, that's a sort of funny thing if I took an offensive item off this thing, and it actually barely lived. Though that's also funny because that shows this thing either has no attack IVs in it, or it's a very, like, low attack boost in, like, nature.
There's the Go-Go. Go-Go has a giant HP stat. And it has Horn Leech, so Go-Go can actually be obnoxious if it gets going. Her team is not that bad. Go-Go...
You say her team is not that bad, but I feel we have a perfect example of the King Gambit barely lived. It barely lived the low kick, making me wonder what that Floatzel's attack IVs are.
There's Epilogue, which has a mighty physical defense. You need to hit it on the special side.
But I have Make It Rain now. This thing has Earthquake. I am not I believe it has Earthquake. It has a move that can super effectively beat this thing. I don't remember what it is. I just know it has that move, so I'm not going to risk that. Just
hit it on the special defense.
Make it rain. Make it rain.
Gone. The physical defense is good. The special defense is fucking awful.
That's why I used...
I know. Incredible HP stat, though.
That's why I used that and not anything else. No. I prefer Bitter Blade. I like the healing.
And... Veluza. First Impressions is also good.
Veluza's slow as fuck.
It's not that. It's 70. So, yeah, Flower Trick, if you...
Also, I'm pretty sure the Flower Trick would be stronger because of the crit.
It's super effective! Crit boosted stab.
Also, I'm immune to one stab, I resist the other. I think you would have to use, like, Peck or something.
This is okay.
Breaking the mold.
This is okay. Just fuck it. Flower Trick, that'll do damage. Yeah.
Also, remember, this is the only thing with the Life Orb.
Yes! But my point! First Impressions was okay. It's not the... I will give you, it's not the fastest fish.
And,
Gormora.
her last Pokemon.
One of the weirdest Pokemon in the game.
You know... Because she's going to Terrestrial it into pure rock.
Yes.
And that's why I'm doing
And you're
this.
faster.
Of course I'm faster. This thing's slow as, it's slow as balls.
It is not actually that slow.
I believe its speed's also around 70.
I think it's like 85. Somewhere in that ballpark. It's faster than you think it is.
It's normally rock poison, so it would actually normally be neutral to grass, but she made it pure rock, so Flower Trick.
Big on thought.
Va-va-voom.
Yeah, that's about what I expected there. Bitch. Talking debris.
And, now that I basically did a clean sweep, that other than the King Gambit somehow surviving, which is kind of amazing. Like I said, if her team was shifted around and that thing was actually her lead, and the King Gambit was, forced to be last,
Even if her team is not Eevee trained, that thing could have been a lead, and could have been built on getting up Toxic Spikes. Even a low layer of Toxic Spikes to do just poison.
Or because I believe if it's hit with any move, regardless if it's physical or special, I think it will lay Toxic Spikes. You can actually be an asshole and give it a focus
Sash.
So that it is guaranteed
to get the Toxic layer. And then that would force you to remove Spikes. The Toxic Spikes, and if you didn't know that was coming, that would put all of your Pokemon on a Doom timer, unless you have a
Poison type yourself.
To absorb them, or something with, Rapid Spin or Defog. And then that would have been great. And then, as you go on, her other Pokemon are really not that bad, and you could have ended with a King Gambit.
Especially because because the King Gambit boost, the boost is only a 10%, so if it's the last Pokemon out of a team of 6, it'd be... because it is the last one. Like, it gets a 50% boost. That boost is basically a choice band before its hold item, and something that could be really extreme is it could then also be holding a choice band, so its attack is basically doubled. And you might say, oh, but King Gambit is slow. It gets Sucker Punch. Now, I believe it's an egg move. But, it's the champion. This is why I said if they wanted to be an asshole, you could have that thing.
If they wanted to be an asshole and they actually Eevee trained her team instead of them only having a good chunk of HP, and that's basically it.
I wonder if that's actually how the King Gambit survived, because it would be hilarious if...
It's... HP and defense are incredibly obnoxious, and that was non-stab, so...
But it was 4 times effective, and King Gambit, even before the 4 times effective, is so heavy, low kick becomes the 120.
My point, her team is actually pretty good, it's just without Eevee training.
And so the King Gambit, if it was saved until the end, and because of that, it would have the 50% from the 50% from Supreme Overlord. She terrestrials it into Pure Dark, and if it becomes Pure Dark at that point, as an example there, it was actually barely able to live a low kick. If it was Pure Dark, it would live that at half, and then you have a Life Orb or a Choice Band for more damage boost, and it just hides behind Sucker Punch. And again, if you, went in not knowing that that was going to happen, all of you would probably be 6-0'd by that thing.
If it had, and they could have done, adamant HP and attack if you wanted to. I haven't.
How long did,
It's only been 3 hours. If you go to the Pokemon Center, you should get the IV judge. People said that happens after the Elite Four. They were just supposed to give you the IV judge if they didn't bring it up. Any Pokemon Center is supposed to do that, so either you have to go...
Yeah.
Unless you have to fly off. It's time for the question of the day and my overall thoughts on the topic. So, anyway, what is your opinion on the final Elite Four member and the champion fight with Geeta? First off, the Dragon Elite Four member actually has a pretty well-balanced team. As far as dragons go, I think his team is pretty good. And Baxcalibur being immune to burns is super useful. So, overall, Baxcalibur is also surprisingly tanky for a sweeper, meaning it might give you trouble, but the biggest weaknesses for the dragon type is ice, considering a lot of dragons are quad weak to ice, and fairy, because fairy cannot be hit by dragon moves at all, and basically also super effectively beats a dragon. So if you have ice coverage or bring a competent fairy type in here, his dragons are pretty easy to beat. But now for the big discussion. Overall, I think Geeta is overhated. While everyone thinks her team is bad, I think her team is pretty good. But the problem is the lack of EV training. Because her team can actually be obnoxious if they are EV trained. Because I think her team actually consists of a lot of, at the very least, decent Pokemon that can catch you off guard. And a lot of people that fought Geeta completely blind did end up getting blindsided by a couple of her team members. So I think her team is overall pretty good. Is her team the best? Not really, but at the same time, I think her team would be obnoxious if she had EV training. And I feel like if she had EV training, a lot of people would actually find her team to be somewhat difficult. Because a lot of her Pokemon are actually naturally really tanky, meaning they have a lot of HP. So if you gave them a lot of bulk training, you could actually have a team of slow, obnoxious Pokemon that refuse to die. And that would basically be really hard to deal with. Anyway, you can leave your thoughts, opinions, and answers in the comments. Or you can leave them on social media. All of my social media links as well as my Discord links are in the video description. Now, as always, I need to be a shill for a minute. If you subscribe to the channel, and if you follow me on social media, that really helps our communities grow. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope I will see you all next time. So, as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, everybody. I hope you come back someday. See you later.